for the next part of our program this morning, today is the final day of the International Kinetic Art Exhibit and Symposium in Boynton Beach. This is something that happens only every other year, and I am really happy to welcome one of the featured artists, along with 11 others, who are exhibiting, public artist and creator of The Gator in the Bay, for those who remember Art Basel 2012, Lloyd Goradesky. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for having me.
What is a public artist? What is different about a public artist than a private artist?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Public artists involve creating and filling a void for the community.
Okay.
They see a public space and they like to fill that space with art. And the benefit to the community is that it usually inspires, it attracts, it's free to the community, free to share, free to beautify. And the expense generally comes from the ultimate person with the money who can afford to buy it. So the person who pays for it is really the one who can afford it, while the community gets the benefit.
So someone owns that piece. You or another artist creates it, and then someone owns it, but it stays in a public place?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I've seen this in Coral Springs. They have a lot of that, and like the cows in New York.
Exactly. And Bal
Right.
Harbour did the sea turtles.
Okay.
If you're familiar with that.
Okay, so
And
that's what public art is about.
that's a perfect example.
Okay. Now, for this weekend, though, it's kinetic art. How is that different?
So we've all been into museums, and we've all been in galleries, and we've seen beautiful art hanging on the walls. Kinetic art is art that moves. So the wall art that you see is stagnant, although it can have illusion. Kinetic art is something that is free-flowing, generally moving because of a natural element from wind, solar, water.
Is that different from, say, the pieces that are in your home where you touch something and it whirls around?
That's a perfect example of a indoor kinetic piece.
Okay, so then it's moving based on your energetic input as opposed to the outdoor elements.
Exactly.
Okay, but they're still kinetic, and that's the movement is what defines it as kinetic art.
Correct.
So for this kinetic art exhibit, there are only 12 artists chosen for this.
I feel very special and very honored and humbled to have been selected. These are artists that come from all over the world and travel and apply for this juried exhibit to be very special. So these are public artists that are known for their sculpture, and in order to apply for the exhibit, your sculpture has to move, which is the challenge of any type of art piece, is to get it to move both to its location and also when it's in its location, if you could get it to move as part of the actual art piece.
Because these are giant pieces. These are like 3 times the size of a person, like 3 people standing shoulder on top of shoulder.
Yes, I think the smallest piece in the outdoor exhibit is 11 or 12 feet. My piece is just over 16 feet. With a circumference of 16 feet, because it spins. It's a big, large wind vane called
wind
Let
vane.
Love Guide Your Way.
Say that again, Let Love
Guide Your Way.
This being February, that is such a perfect message. What inspired that message?
Well, as an artist, artists love to create. They love to paint. They really don't mind what color they're painting, so long as they're allowed to paint. So when I had the opportunity to create Gator in the Bay and create a public art piece to raise awareness for the Florida Everglades, I didn't realize the feedback and the political arena I was about to jump into. So, if you put 100 conservationists in a room together to come up with an idea to save the Everglades, they're all moving in the right direction, but in 100 different ways. So I decided to reevaluate what color I was painting and decided to paint the color love.
Wow.
So we're not talking about relationship love. We're talking about universal love.
And how do you describe that?
Well, everyone has their own definition. Basically, in my research, I found that everyone has a similar direction when it comes to universal love, and that is things that involve kindness, compassion, caring for others, giving to others, willing to take as well from others, because you need a give and take. So Let Love Guide Your Way is a way to remind people that when you're in your private self as compared to your public self, and you have the opportunity to make a left turn or right turn, hopefully you're heading in the direction of universal love and compassion.
It's like the love at a higher plane.
Exactly.
Okay, and tell us about the shape of the weather vane?
So every aspect of the weather vane has a meaning. The first part of the weather vane is the base. And the base, when you look at it, is a free form. It's supposed to represent a human form. And in each section of the base, there are 3 hearts on the top and on the bottom. And the number 3 represents family. And when you start looking at all the components and the multiples of 3, every number represents something in every form of culture. So even when you come up with the form of 18, in Kabbalah, that represents life.
Right.
And the total number of hearts are 24, which represents total community and world.
My. So I have the chills. And the thing that you still haven't said is that the weather vane itself is shaped like a heart.
Yeah, so the top part, the second feature, is the Cupid arrow. So it's not just an arrow, it's a Cupid arrow. And that Cupid is so much meaning in all forms of a Greek and Roman culture. And it's really where we began learning about public art and display.
It's kind of mind-boggling to me, all of the thought that goes into the creation of this piece, that if you hadn't told me this, I would have looked at and thought, wow, that's really cool, a weather vane shaped like a heart. Oh, let love guide your way. I like that. But when you add all of the extra components, there's so much meaning wrapped up in it. Do all the artists put this much thought into the process?
Oh, I can only speak for myself. However, the concept of being a conceptual artist and creating an idea before you make the art is part of the challenge. So when you prepare a project, so all of my art I describe as a project, it means it has a beginning and an end. And hopefully the project then takes on a life of its own.
Okay, with today being the final day of the Kinetic exhibit in Boynton Beach, it starts at 11 this morning.
Yeah, so today is the last day. At 10 a.m., you can meet the artists at each of their respective sculpture, and they're there for 1 hour. They're there again at 2 p.m. from 2 to 3. But the entire exhibit is from 11 to 4.
And there's no admission charge.
No admission. It's free. And there is an indoor feature as well, which shows indoor kinetic pieces.
Okay.
So a lot of people get confused, what is kinetic and what is it all about? And I guess if you're not an artist and you just were completely oblivious to it, just sort of think about wind vanes, of course, but also mobiles.
Sure.
So a mobile is a perfect example. So you see some incredible technique and skills from international artists that are really off the chart in terms of engineering, skill, technique, artistry. In order to create a kinetic piece, it is completely different than just painting, although we have master painters. Right. It's different than just sculpting, although we have master sculptors. It requires a level of science and an ingenuity and creativity that goes beyond just painting or just one particular craft.
Where in Boynton Beach is this happening? There's a pretty large space, obviously, different blocks where the pieces are.
So the indoor kinetic exhibit is at 114 North Federal Highway in Boynton Beach. So basically that is Boynton Beach Boulevard. Head east toward the ocean to US 1 and make a right. And it'll be right. You can't miss the tent. It's a big tent in a large open area. Easy parking.
Okay.
The kinetic pieces outdoor is part of a walking tour. So there's some very cool features that there's a plaque on the base of every sculpture so that you could take your smartphone and shine it on the plaque and then hear recorded directly from the artist.
Wow.
So each artist will describe their piece and explain some information that isn't on the website or, just some whimsical thing about their process.
You have posted different versions of your Let Love Guide Your Way concept and weather vane in pin form and magnet form, coffee mugs. Now there are mini wind vanes. Will those be at the park, or do people have to order them online?
They would have to order those online, but with all my projects, I build a website, and so the name of the project is Let Love Guide Your Way, and the .com is letloveguideyourway.com.
Okay.
There is a store on the website. There's also details about the art piece that you won't find anywhere else. But the store has things like ties for men, which is a great gift for Valentine's.
Oh, my God,
mugs,
yes, it is.
And pins, and even refrigerator magnets, of course, shirts and hats. I am making replica Let Love Guide Your Way wind vanes. They're 18 inches by 24 inches, made out of brushed aluminum and stainless bearings. It's on a absolute black granite heart-shaped base.
Wow.
And it's pretty unique. I'm getting some great response on that, and you can private message me or contact me through the website on that.
Okay, and the website is?
LetLoveGuideYourWay.com.
Okay, and the website for the festival?
So the website for the International Kinetic Art Exhibit and Symposium is INTLKineticArtEvent.org.
Easiest thing, you can find the link on our Facebook page, on our events page, Easy 93.1, and just head to Boynton Beach Boulevard and head east, and you will have the chance to meet Lloyd Goradesky and the other 11 artists at 10 o'clock this morning and 2 o'clock this afternoon, and spend the time intervening touring the kinetic art pieces, both outdoors and indoors.
Well, I think the easiest way for them to get directions would just go to LetLoveGuideYourWay.com and click the link right at the top, and they'll find the website. It'll make it simple for the viewer.
I feel like you're going to change the world, and I think this is something we need right now, is for people to let love guide their way.
It's kind of funny. I heard one of my mentors make a comment, and his response to me was, you start in your backyard, and that's really where the gator came from. And I realized that my backyard is now much bigger than Florida, and my world that I can reach is much broader. And with all the chaos that we have, I think when we have the opportunity to give and share and show compassion, that's what will allow us to change the world. It's one person at a time, but we all have to do it individually.
I cannot say anything more. That is the perfect message for a Sunday morning. Thank you. Public artist, Lloyd Goradesky, creator of The Gator in the Bay and Let Love Guide Your Way.
Thank you for letting me share the love.